What if you could have a terminal coding agent, something like Claude Code, but completely free to self-host, open source, and built-in Rust for maximum performance? That's exactly what DeepSeek TUI is. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what it is, why it matters, how to install it, and how to actually use it to get real coding work done. If you've used Claude Code or Codex CLI, you already understand the concept. An AI agent that lives inside your terminal, reads your files, edits code, runs shell commands, and works through multi-step tasks autonomously. DeepSeek TUI does all of that, and it's built from the ground up in Rust, which means it's fast, lightweight, and has no heavy Node.js runtime dragging it down. Let's get into it. DeepSeek TUI is an open-source terminal coding agent built on top of DeepSeek's V4 family of models. I'll link the GitHub repo in the description. And the first thing you'll notice when you open it is that it's 95% Rust. There's also a community site for the project, link in the description, which gives you a clean overview. Here's the agent loop. This is the same agentic loop as Claude Code or Codex. The difference is, you control the model, you control the API key, and the entire tool is open source. And the model it runs by default is DeepSeek V4 Pro. 1 million token context window, built-in thinking mode, and the API costs are a fraction of what you'd pay for GPT-4 or Claude Sonnet. Orders of magnitude is cheaper per token. Let me talk about why building this in Rust actually matters, because it's not just a flex. Tools like Claude Code are built on Node.js. That means when you run them, you're loading a bunch of NPM packages and consuming significant memory just to get the process started. DeepSeek TUI compiles to a single native binary. No runtime and no node modules folder eating your disk. The TUI itself is built using Rust's terminal UI framework, which gives it that polished, responsive feel you see in tools like Lazy Git. The UI renders fast because Rust is fast. There's also a security angle here. It uses OS-native sandboxing. On Linux, Landlock, a kernel-level sandboxing mechanism. On Mac OS, Seatbelt, Apple's sandbox profiles. On Windows, app container and restricted tokens. So when the agent runs a shell command, it's not running with your full permissions by default. The sandbox restricts what it can touch. That's a meaningful safety feature when you're letting an AI execute code autonomously. Before we install it, you need to understand the 3 modes, because they determine how much autonomy the agent has. Plan mode. The agent reads your code base and drafts a plan before it does anything. You review it, then approve. Great for big refactors or anything you want to sanity check first. Agent mode. This is the default. The agent asks for your approval before each significant action, like writing to a file or running a shell command. You're in control at each step. YOLO mode. The agent auto-approves everything. No prompts, no confirmations. Use this in a trusted environment when you want maximum speed. The name is intentional. You cycle between modes with Tab and Shift Tab inside the TUI. Okay, let's install it. The quickest way is npm, one command, and you're done. npm install -g deepseek -tui. That's it. This ships the pre-built Rust binary for your platform. You need Node 18 or newer. Most developers already have this. Once installed, run deepseek-tui. On first launch, it'll prompt for your API key. You can also run deepseek-tui login to set it up front, or just export it as an environment variable. To get your API key, head to the platform.deepseek.com, link in the description. Create an account, generate a key. Done. DeepSeek's pricing is extremely competitive, fractions of a cent per 1,000 tokens for V4 Flash, and very affordable for V4 Pro. Once you're set up, run deepseek-tui doctor. It checks your API key, config path, sandbox settings, and model availability. If it comes back clean, you're good to go. Now here's something I think a lot of people don't know, and this might be the most interesting part of this video. You can run DeepSeek TUI completely free. Zero cost, no API bill at all. NVIDIA offers free hosted inference through their NIM platform, and both DeepSeek V4 Pro and V4 Flash are on there. You sign up for the NVIDIA Developer Program, which is free with no credit card required. Generate an API key and point at NVIDIA's endpoint instead of DeepSeek's. The free tier has no expiry, just rate limits. And DeepSeek TUI has this provider built in natively. There's a dedicated NVIDIA NIM profile right in the config. You set the provider, drop in your key, point it at the endpoint, choose your model, and launch with the NVIDIA NIM profile. Same DeepSeek V4 models, same terminal agent, completely free. I'm not covering the full NVIDIA NIM setup in this video, but if you want a dedicated walkthrough showing exactly how to get this working step by step, let me know in the comments. If enough people are interested, that's the next video. The config file lives at tilde.deepseek/config.toml. The companion repo, link in the description, has a fully commented example you can drop straight in. The settings that matter most: your default model, either V4 Pro or V4 Flash. Sandbox mode set to workspace write. The agent can only read and write inside your current project directory, nothing outside it. An approval policy set to on request. It asks before any risky action. That sandbox mode setting is the one you want to get right when you're letting an AI run shell commands on your machine. Let me show you two things I've actually used this for. First, explaining a codebase. I navigate into my project and launch DeepSeek TUI. Then I type a prompt. Explain the overall architecture of this project. What does each major directory do? Watch what happens. It's making read file and grep tool calls, reading your actual source files on disk, and synthesizing a clear explanation. No file upload, no copy-pasting code. It reads the project the same way a new developer would on day one, just in seconds. Now the shortcuts you'll actually use day to day. F1 opens the help overlay. Control-K opens the command palette. Worth exploring, it surfaces everything the agent can do. Escape cancels the current action. Tab and Shift-Tab cycle between plan, agent, and YOLO. Type an @ sign followed by a file path to attach a file to your message. /models to switch models on the fly. And /compact, a lifesaver on longer sessions, summarizes and compresses your context when things get long. Let's be honest about how this stacks up against Claude Code. DeepSeek TUI is very low or free via NVIDIA NIM. Claude Code uses Anthropic API pricing. DeepSeek TUI is fully open source. DeepSeek TUI is a native Rust binary. Claude Code runs on Node.js. Both support MCP. DeepSeek TUI is self-hostable. Claude Code is not. And on context, 1 million tokens with V4 Pro versus 200,000 with Claude Sonic. Claude Code has a more mature ecosystem and tighter IDE integration right now. I won't pretend otherwise. But DeepSeek TUI is genuinely capable, actively developed, and when you factor in the NVIDIA NIM free tier, the cost argument is pretty hard to ignore. And because it's open source, you can contribute, fork it, or point it at a completely different model provider. You're not locked into anything. Install it with that one npm command, run DeepSeek-TUI Doctor, and try it on a real project. I think you'll be surprised. If this was useful, a like goes a long way. See you in the next one.